Welcome to a YouTube channel named as Cat2. I am by Manoj Mahajan. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we are coming up with Quantitative Aptitude full course, basic to advanced, relevant for CAT, ZAT, and MAT, SNAP, and OMETS. So we have already done the percentage 1 and percentage 2. So we are moving to percentage 3. Once you cover up all these percentage session, you would be able to cover up all the basics of percentage and all variety of the percentage questions, and you're going to definitely learn super trick shortcuts which are going to save time. So let's see over here, question number 10 over here. A person is able to buy 20 oranges less for the same amount due to increase in the price of oranges by 40%. Find the final number of the oranges he bought. So if you go with a very basic approach, we can look forward to answer it. Expenditure is what? Price into quantity. So this has to be same, the expenditure. So let's see what is the price going to be finally. So it is increased by 40%. So what is the multiplying factor? 1.4. We have done this multiplying factor concept in the percentage 1 session. So can we write like this? And the quantity would become Q minus 20. So using this equation, of course, we can get the value of Q. So let's do the quick calculation out here. So can I rule out over here the variable P? So my Q would be nothing but 1.4 Q minus, I would be having 1.4 multiplied by 20, which would give me what? 28. So what do I have is 0.4 Q would be nothing but 28. So if I further simplify, I would be able to figure out the value of Q, that is 17. So don't mark the answer option B. That would actually be wrong. So don't rush through. There's a piece of advice. Always spend few extra seconds to check out what has been asked. So from the equation, we are going to definitely be able to solve the value of Q. But the question talks about final number, which is Q minus 20. So the answer would be nothing but 50 over here. That is option A. So this was a very basic approach, and we are going to do a few more questions on the symbol lines. But first, I need to teach you the trick shortcut, and then you can look forward to apply. So the trick shortcut is based on the triplet concept, which we have discussed in the percentage 1 video. So let's look at the trick shortcut out here. So what we have is over here, price and quantity. Initial, we are going to assume some number, and then we are going to look at final also. See, 40%, if I look in fractions, that is nothing but 2 upon 5 dividing by 100. So if I have to calculate 2 by 5 of some quantity, then of course I should take that number to be a multiple of 5 so that the calculation is easy. All of this I have explained in the percentage 1 session. So this is 5. Let's say 2 by 5 of 5 is 2. So this becomes 7. Now what I'm going to do over here is, as the amount is same, which means price into quantity figure is same. So see, whatever the expenditure I'm going to assume over here, that has to be same out here. So I have to divide the expenditure with 5 to get the quantity over here, and the expenditure over here by 7 to get the quantity over here, the final one. So what I'm going to do is, I would use 5 and 7 LCM. That would be what? 35. So what is going to happen out here is that these numbers, or the triplets, 3 numbers, 5 to 7. So what is going to happen? 35 by 5, I would get 7 over here. 35 by 7, I'll get 5 over here, and the difference will be 2. So the triplets are being used out here. Now you can easily answer the question over here. So what is the difference in the oranges given to us? That is 20. So that is not 2. So I have to multiply this with 10. This would also get multiplied with 10. This will also get multiplied with 10. So if they would have asked you initially, I would have answered 70 oranges. They are asking final. So my answer is option A. Already we have checked about this in the solution, the previous one. So 50 was the correct answer. The best thing is that you guys have to learn this trick shortcut so that I can look forward to applying the further questions out here. So let me take another similar example. So I would say that first get used to that trick shortcut and then apply over here. So do check out the solution once you have given a try. So I'm straight away coming to the trick shortcut rather than going with the standard approach out here. So what we're going to do is a person can buy 46 kg rice more for rupees 2600 due to decrease in the price by 23%. So 23%, if I look over here in the fraction, would become 23 by 100. So the same trick we are going to look at. So let me put the numbers out here and you would definitely love the approach. So the price decreased by 23%. So let me take 100 as the initial one because 23 by 100 of 100 would be a very simple number, that is 23. So the final becomes 77. How I got 77? 100 minus 23. So again, the expenditure is same. So I'll take the LCM of 177. So that would be nothing but 77 into 100 itself. So over here also, I would have the same figure. So the quantity would be dividing by 100. If I look over here, that would be 77 and this would be nothing but 100. So the numbers are over here 100, 23, 77. Over here it becoming 77, 100 and 23. So what is the difference in the rise? If I look 46, so this needs to get multiplied with 2. So this will also get multiplied with 2 and this will also with 2. So you can figure out that the quantity was initially 77 into 2. If I do, that would be nothing but 154 and this would be 200. So now the question is new price. So the quantity is 200 and what was the expenditure actually? That was 2600. So per kg we have to figure out, let me divide this by 200. So don't divide by 154. That would be a shit mistake if you do that. So what is the number I'm going to get over here? That is 13. So that is option B. So we did with superb trick over here. Let us do one more question on the similar lines. This question has been a part of CAT. So you can have a look of the question out here. So see, in the previous two questions, the quantity expenditure was the product of two quantities, price and quantity, right? Over here also, if you look distance, if I want to calculate, so that is mileage into consumption. So how many liters you are consuming and how much kilometers per liter you can actually travel. So the product of these two would give you the distance. So whenever you have a product of two quantities and it is given that in the previous two expenditure was same, over here we are taking distance to be same. So we're going to use the triplet concept again out here. So at 70 kilometer per hour, they're saying 30% more diesel to travel. Okay. So the consumption is 30% more. So let me put the consumption and mileage over here again. So same trick we are going to do it in the CAT question over here. Initial, final, if I look over here. So 30% is what fraction dividing by 100, 3 by 10. So this is nothing but 10. I'll assume 3 more. This becomes what? 13. So if you look over here, this 10 was the consumption we took at 50 kilometer per hour speed. And when the speed has been 70 kilometer per hour, this is the consumption we have, 13. So again, if I look the distance to be as same, so 10 into 13, again the LCM of these two numbers I'm taking out here. So mileage, if I calculate, so this 135 divided by 10, I would get what, 13. And this divided by 13, I would get what, 10. So 3 is the difference out here. Now, what is the further data given to us? If the truck can travel 19.5 kilometer per liter of diesel at 50 kilometer per hour. So over here, the value of 13 is given to us, that is 19.5. So can I say if 13 is 19.5, what would be 1 unit we can look forward to calculate by dividing? So let me do that. So when you divide this with 13, what you get is 1.5. So 1 unit value is 1.5. Now, if you look over here, the mileage finally you can calculate by multiplying this with 1.5 because 1 unit is 1.5. So this would be what? 15. So the final mileage what we are getting over here is 15 kilometer per liter. Now let's try to answer the question over here. How far can the truck travel on 10 liters at a speed of 70 kilometer per hour? So my distance is what? Mileage, what is that? 15. And what consumption they're looking at? 10. So what is the value I'm going to get is 150, which is your option number 3. Okay, so a very simple question I have put over here to make you understand what is percentage points. So just listen carefully first, the definition of the percentage points. So percentage points is the difference of two percentage figures. So to understand, let's understand question number 13 out here, and we are going to calculate the value also. So what is given is production of wheat in the year 2000 was 500 units, and in the year 2001 was 600 units. Total food grain production in the year 2000 was 2500 units, and in the year 2001 was 2400 units. So I have created two parts to it so that you understand what is the percentage increase value over here and what is the percentage points increase. So the question number 1 talks about percentage increase in the production of wheat from the year 2000 to 2001. So how do we get the percentage change out here? And that would be nothing but final upon initial minus 1 into 100. So this is the solution to the first part out here. So what is the final we have is 600 over here. What is the initial we have is 500 minus 1 if I do. So how much do we get over here? If I calculate, that is 20%. So the percentage increase in the production of wheat from the year 2000 to 2001 is 20%. Now the interesting thing would be to calculate the percentage points increase. So what we're going to do over here is, let's first calculate in 2000, what is the percentage production of wheat. So for that, we're going to do 500 is the production of wheat, right? Out of what? Total 2500. So that is the first percentage figure we're going to calculate out here. So what do I get over here is 20%. That was in the year, if I talk about 2000 out here, right? Now, when you come to the year 2001, so what do we get the percentage figure out here? 600 upon what? 2400 into 100. So if I do calculate this, this would come out to be nothing but 25%. So if you look over here, I told you percentage points is the difference of two percentage figures. So the answer to the second part is nothing but 25 minus 20 if I do, that is 5%. So the percentage points got increased in the production of wheat from the year 2000 to 2001, that is 5%. So this question would help you to understand the difference between percentage increase and the percentage points increase. Now let's move to two very interesting problems out here. And you first give a try on your own, and then you can look forward to answer from the video what is the solution to these two questions. So if you look over here, the percentage of non-engineers they've given in the answers in between 35 to 45%. So it's a very interesting problem. Now the question talks about find the minimum number of engineers in the IIMs. So first of all, remember it doesn't talks about the minimum percentage of engineers. It talks about the number. So a lot of students commit mistakes. So this is what non-engineer range. So what they do is they calculate the engineer range by subtracting from 100. So if you do it, 100 minus 35, if I do, will be what, 65. And if I subtract 45, what I'm going to have is 55. Now they would have a tendency to mark option D, which would actually be incorrect. One reason is because they are talking about minimum number, not minimum percentage. Secondly, if they would have talked about minimum percentage also, it would have been slightly more than 55% because it is the uh, inequality which we are using. 55% is not included over here, right? So in that case also, this would have been wrong. It would have been slightly more than 55. But let's talk about the saying the minimum number and how we can figure out the minimum number out here. See, one approach is you can look forward to use options out here. Secondly, if you do not have options, still we can work out. So both ways works for us. So if you look over here, what we're going to do is we'll put engineers, non-engineers. Sum of these two is total. Now, as you know, the non-engineers are in the range of 35% to 45% over here. So we are going to look forward for the engineers out here because that is what they're asking, minimum number. So of course, the range is in between this. We have to start with 1. And if you look at the choice also, we could have started with 2. So if you are using the options, rather than going at 1, we could have started with 2 and finally we could have got the answer. So anyhow, I'm not using the options as of now. So if this is 1, and if you look over here, uh, if I put this as 0, which is not possible because you have in the range 35 to 45%. So this also I have to look at putting as 1. Now when I do that, engineers of total is what, 50%, 1 upon 2, right? In percentage would be 50. So that range is, if I look 55 to 65, so 50% is not in this range. So I need to increase it because it is the range 55 to 65. So let me push it by 1. As it's minimum, so we are increasing just by 1 out here. So this becomes what? 3. So 2 upon 3 now, if I calculate percentage, that would actually become 66.66%. So that would be above 65. So in that case, we have to reduce the percentage of engineers. So this has to get increased by 1. So of course, a slightly different approach I'm using out here, but that's what we are looking over here to get the solution out here. So this becomes 4. So 2 upon 4, if I look over here, that becomes again 50%, lesser than 55. So I need to push it by again 1. So this becomes 3. This becomes what? 5. So now if you look 3 upon 5 in percentage, that is nothing but, if I look over here, 60%. So that is satisfying the range. So the correct answer was option B out here. So see, we did without option starting with engineers as 1. If I would have went with the option, then I would have started with 2. And the approach would have been on the similar lines and we could boil down the answer to option B out here. So it was a wonderful question. So once you cover up all the percentage videos, 3 videos, percentage 1, percentage 2, percentage 3, you cover up each and every variety of questions on the percentage topic. Now let's have a quick look of question number 15, a wonderful problem out here. So there are X boys and Y girls. Percentage is fixed now. So what is the difference out here in these two questions? Over here, it was a range given. Over here, a fixed percentage. So minimum students they're asking you in the class. So total strength they're talking about. Now, of course, you can look forward to do it like this. What is Y equal to? 5.125% of total. Let's say T is the total, which is X plus Y over here. So of course we can try put it like this. And now we have to actually simplify this figure. So you need to remove the decimal point out here. So this would be what, 1000 percentage sign. If I do it, I have to put two more zeros out here. Now you have to simplify because they're talking about minimum students in the class. So we have to get T minimum. So this has to be simplified using the number system concept. The numbers are divisible by 5, you can see. So you can look forward to first start with dividing with 5 and keep simplifying as long as it can be done. But I would look at one trick, as I taught you a lot of fractions in the percentage one class. So what was given to us was 5.125%. Now let's see what is a wonderful trick out here. So can you break like this? 5 plus 0.125 percentage. Can I do this? Yes. Now look over here. Do you remember from the percentage one class, what was 1 upon 8? If I look over here, that was in percentage 12.5%, right? So if you look in the decimal point, 1 upon 8 would be nothing but what? 0.125. So what I can do is 5. What is y equal to? 5 plus 0.125 I'm removing as 1 upon 8. So now it becomes pretty easy for us to figure out, right? So if you look the solution out here, finally, let me put it over here. So what is y equal to, if I see over here, this what 41 by 8 percentage sign if I remove. So I have to look forward to divide by 100 of t. Now if you look basic algebra, we can look forward over here. So in the denominator, we have 800. So the minimum value of t, I have to start with 800 so that my x and y both are integers, which has to be also. So over here, t minimum would be 800. What is y minimum? If they would have asked you girls, it would have been 41. If they would have asked you boys minimum, this is actually girls, right? So y minimum, if I talk about, so x minimum is about the boys. So this would have been 759. So I've given you all the options. You can do a silly mistake also. If you try answer girls minimum, you would have given 41. Boys minimum, you would have given 759. And the question talks about minimum students in the class, which is 800. So remember that the letter X represent the boys and Y girls, and X plus Y is the total. So it's a wonderful approach what we have talked about so far. Let's move to the next question over here. Now we are coming to a few more questions which are based on the election, right? So of course you can use the basic approach out here. But if I look the previous videos, I taught you a super trick shortcut in such kind of questions also. Let me tell you what it is. Now the trick was Nidhi got 60% of the votes polled, right? So can I look forward that Sandeep must have got 100 minus 60? If I do, that is 40%. So we can make the equation, but you should remember the trick that if the base is same for both the percentage figures, we can use this trick out here. So difference is what? 20%. Now this 20%, if I look over here, let's see what is given in the problem. And that is nothing but 2200. So this percentage difference we can always do if both the percentage figures are of the same number. So this 20% given is 2200. If I look over here, now let's see what they're asking you. Are they asking you total votes polled, or they're asking you votes polled in the favor of Nidhi or maybe in the favor of Sandeep? So they're asking you in the favor of Sandeep. So what I have to do is 20% is 2200. Simple. Sandeep got 40%. So the trick is double of this. So you know that 20% is 2200. So 40% would be nothing but 4400. So this is my answer, option number B. So if they would have asked for Nidhi, 60%, I would have calculated by multiplying with 3 out here. If total votes, then 20%, 2200, I would have calculated 100% by multiplying with 5 because 20 into 5 would give me 100%. So 2200 into 5, I have to do it. So I hope you would have understood this quick shortcut as you are following this percentage topic from starting percentage 1, then you must have seen percentage 2. So do check out each and every video which I'm going to upload on the channel. The best quantitative aptitude full course on the channel Cat to Hand by Manoj Mahajan. Now let me move to another kind of question out here. So if you look over here, again, this is a question of election out here. So we can work with options over here, or we can look forward in the such kind of question to make a tree again. And what we can do is, again, if I look over here, we can start with, let's say, 100x. And let me tell you what is 100x out here. So 100x is total voters I'm assuming out here, right? So they're saying 20% of voters did not cast. So can I say 20x? So I don't have to look at do something extra out here because 20% was easy to calculate 20x. So can I say 80x would be the number who have casted their vote? Okay, now what they're saying is the loser gets 40% of the votes casted. So 40% of 80x we are going to calculate. That is again integer. So we don't have to do any further steps out here. So can I write 32x? And this would be nothing but 32 if I subtract from 80, 48 over here. So multiply it with x. Now just remember that 80 voters cast their ballot papers blank. So this 80 would be subtracted from where? That is something where students are going to commit the mistake. So the loser got 40%, so nothing to be subtracted from here. It would be actually subtracted from this part. Now you know that the difference between the two, the winner got what? 320 votes more. So this difference is what? 320. So let's make an equation out here finally to get the value of x, and then let's see what they're asking in the problem. So this minus 32x is nothing but 320 out here. So what do I get is 16x is equal to what? 400. So my x would be nothing but if I divide 400 by 16, that would be 25. Now this would actually come out to be 2500. So a lot of people would mark 2500, which would actually be a shit mistake because see, they're asking the number of votes casted, right? Not the total voters. So casted, if I look over here, is 80x, which would actually come out to be, if I substitute 25 for the value of x, that would be 2000. So the answer is option A out here. So I could do with the options. Let me show you how. See, the options given were 2000, 2500, and 1800. So I would advise pick up an option which is in the middle, right? So 1800 is the lowest value given out here. Highest is 2500. So why I'm saying to pick up the middle value? Because see, if that middle value you get the answer, that would be great. If not, then you would have an idea whether the answer would be more than the middle value. Over here, the options which are there. I mean, more than 2000, or is it less than 2000, right? So let me pick up 2000. That is the number of votes casted, right? So 2000 is not the total, right? So this 80% of whatever we have in the starting. So if this is 80%, 2000, 20% would be what? 500. So total voters would be 2500 in that case. Now let's go further out here. So of 2000, we're going to calculate 40%. That would be what? 800. So remaining would be what? 1200. From here, we are going to subtract 80. So this gives you what? 1120. Just check whether the difference comes out to be 320 or not, which is actually coming out. So the assumption is absolutely right. So yes, we should work with the options also. Right? I'm coming to the last question of the day, which appeared way back in CAT 1994. And if you go mathematically, of course, it would be a tedious job to do this problem. So remember that you have to learn the option-based approach also so that you can make things easy. So let me tell you the mathematical approach also, but we are going to look at the trick shortcut out here. So what is given to us, the number of votes not cast for Prajapati increased by 25% in the national general election over those not cast for it in the previous assembly polls. Okay. And what is given to us, the Prajapati lost by a majority twice as large as that by which it had won the assembly polls. And every time what happened? 2,60,000 people voted. So the question talks about how many voted for the Prajapati in the previous one, right? So let me put one party name is given to us, Praja party, other party which we do not know the name. So two parties we are having over here, Praja party and the other party. So we have to figure out in the previous one. So let me take x over here because once we are going to frame the equation, we are going to get the value of x and we would be able to mark that answer also. So if Prajapati got in the previous one x votes, so in that case, the other party would have got 2,60,000 minus x, correct? Now, what they're saying is the number of votes not cast increased by 25%. So this was the not cast in the previous one. So 25% is what fraction? 1 by 4. So multiplying factor would be 1 plus 1 by 4, which would become 5 by 4. So can I say the other party got 5 by 4 times of this? Yes, no? Correct. So let me put it over here. Now, again, the sum of these two has to be what? 2,60,000, correct? So what I have to do is, that's a tough thing doing it mathematically. So just wait till the end to look at the super trick shortcut and you would surely enjoy. And if you love such tricks, do comment for the video also. Do like, and of course, you have to share also with the other aspirants, right? So 2,60,000 minus, I'm going to do this stuff. Right? Okay, so I'm just dividing this with a line out here so that there is no confusion, right? So you can understand what I've done over here. Now we have to make the linear equation by using this line. The party lost by a majority twice. So how much it got lost in the election out here, if I look the second part, difference of these two. And of course, this number would be more, right? So I'm putting it over here. So it's a tough equation out here. So this is what you guys have to do it if you go mathematically. Okay, so this is the value by which the Prajapati got defeated, right? So minus what? 2,60,000. Let me put the mod mass also out here. So look how tough it is. So this is what you're going to get out here. So we'll do a superb trick in a while. So that's why the option-based approach is very, very important, right? So this difference they are saying is what? Twice of the previous. So twice of what? If I look over here, the previous one, Prajapati has one. So X would have been on the higher side. So X minus this. That's what we have to do it. So it looks to be easy doing it like this, but just understand you have very less time in the CAT paper, right? So making this entire equation and probably solving it and then trying to get the value of x would have been damn difficult, right? So of course you can figure out the answer by calculating. So we are not looking at the calculation stuff, that you do it on your own. Let's look at the trick shortcut for which you would be delighted, right? So out here, what you're going to do is you're going to use option base approach. So let's see what is the option-based approach. See, one thing that this x has to be more than this value, right? Because the Praja Party has 1. So just do a simple stuff out here, 2,60,000. So of course, the Praja Party would have got more than 1,30,000 for sure, because it won the previous one. So can we rule out option A? Look, that's what the beauty of the options out here, also designed by the CAT. So they have purposely done this so that you can rule out two options. Now you're left with two. Pick up any one option, and if the data satisfy with the option picked up, that is the answer. If not, then the left out is the answer. So I'm just picking up one of the options out here. So let's say if I pick up option C out here. So let's say the Praja Party got 1,40,000. So can I say the other one would have got 1,20,000? Correct. Subtracting from 2,60,000. Now increase this by 25%. So what do I get? 1 by 4 of this is 30,000. So 1,50,000. So 1,50,000, if you subtract from 2,60,000, you will get what? 1,10,000, right? Now just check out. Difference of this is what? 40,000. Is this difference coming out to be double of this difference? That is what over here, 20,000? Yes. So if yes, then the assumption is right. So we have the correct answer, option C. So if it would have not satisfied, then the left out option would have been the answer. So now you can see the beauty of using options out here. We would have easily cracked this problem in less time. And I'm pretty sure that if you go mathematically like this, you may get lost also somewhere, right? So do follow us on the uh, channel over here. Do subscribe, I mean, and do join the CAT 2IM Telegram information group so that you don't miss out the important updates. The free material available for CAT and other management interests. Thank you so much.